So a bunch of girls have their boobs out in Union Square Park as a protest of Donald Trump, and I'm going to try to figure out how exactly that works. I mean, it's a nice little Saturday. Normally I'd be at brunch, but like this is kind of like brunch.
So I thought, what would really grab the public's attention?
Boobs.
Boobs. Well, actually, I thought if there's two things Americans can't look away from, it's nudity and violence.
Yeah.
You know, when you're like driving and you see a car crash by the side of the road and you don't want to look, but you have to?
Yeah, and if there's boobs in the car crash.
I was prepared to go completely naked, but New York has a law against that, which is too bad because my pubes are shaped in an H right now.
An H for what?
For Hillary, for still with her. But
that's very feminist.
But as it turns out, I can't show them, so now I'm all itchy for nothing.
That sucks.
That's it.
Razor burn.
Yeah.
I'm a mad fucking witch and there's a minister I hate for his everyday misogyny. Not just that one text. I'm a mad fucking witch. I'm angry to the core. As I shriek my words, I seek to settle the score. Peter Dutton, you stand accused of failing to protect the women abused in Australia's black sites for refugees on the mainland and overseas. Women like Ardian, pregnant from rape on Nauru. You refuse her abortion. What's she gonna do? She is detained. Her rapist is at large. Just like you, she hasn't yet been charged. You should get the sack and be made to stand trial for failing to prevent these deeds so vile, for failing to uphold the rights of detainees, of asylum seekers and refugees, for failing to protect those who sought our care, who came the only way they could by boat, not air. I am a mad fucking witch, enraged at what I see, and I will fight till all the refugees are free.
The Association for Retarded Citizens.
Okay, we're so close to having the first female president. Now we are probably as far away from what we would have gotten with that as possible. How are you feeling?
Oh, a little bit drunk, a little bit sad, to be honest. No, I woke up this morning full of optimism and full of excitement. I think like a lot of women did today. I felt like whether you were a Hillary supporter for her policies or not, for women this was going to be a big day. And right now I think a lot of people are just in shock.
It's interesting because they were doing a poll of people after they'd voted, and at one stage 66% of white women were supporting Trump.
We've got the breakdown here. 53% of white women voted for Trump, 4% of black women voted for Trump, and 26% of Latino women voted for Trump.
Well, what that shows you is that the people in real America, in small-town America, weren't buying the bull dust that was coming out of the elites about voting
about
for
the idea of there being a real America.
I'm sorry, I was speaking
all America
before
is
you
real.
interrupted.
Is it okay and the question, I believe, was to me. All of America is real. If you live in the city or you live in a small town, you're still an American.
This is the reason why Donald Trump won, because people like you lecture and hector people.
Pricey.
Steve.
Holy shit! That thing looks hurt!
Mansplaining is when a man explains something very obvious to a woman just because she's a woman.
I think it comes from an innate sense of superiority.
It's some type of like self-confidence issue that they have.
It's very patronizing and super condescending.
Mansplaining manifests itself pretty much everywhere. It definitely happens at work.
Group dinners.
On Twitter. It's with people who you report to, with people who report directly to you.
This is ingrained in men from like a very young age.
If there's one mansplainer surrounded by a lot of mansplainers, they'll feed off one another.
I think that men like to feel more powerful.
Mansplaining knows no bounds.
You know, if you're in a professional setting, sometimes you can't tell somebody to shut up.
A man will tell me why I'm a talented writer, but I am not logical enough and I write with too much emotions.
Let me womansplain this to you real quick.
I don't need your unsolicited advice.
Please stop.
I already know what you're about to mansplain to me.
I'm smart. I understand. You can stop talking.
I also consider myself a feminist. She fights on every major issue that I really truly believe in. She is on my side, whereas the other candidate is not. So I think she is probably the most qualified person that we've ever had as a nominee to run for president. My mother's 65th birthday was yesterday. My brother set up a dinner, and I dressed up as Hillary and showed up like 15 minutes later and walked in and started doing one of her stump speeches like at the table. and my mom didn't even realize it was me for the first like 2 minutes. That's why I got the outfit. It's also Halloween, and so I decided to do it again today for this.
What is up with dudes today? Dudes! Guys, men, male figures, people that are your friends that have penises. When did it become okay for a guy to allow a girl on a date to split the tab? When? What happened to chivalry? Call the locksmith! That was for men in tights. It had nothing to do with chivalry. Where did it go? I went on a date. I think it was a date. Might have just been a hangout because the line is so blurred. I went on a date with somebody and I threw my card down towards the end because that's the polite thing to do when you're a girl, and the polite thing to do when you're a guy is to not accept my card. Whatever. Why don't guys know that that's the thing? I know that it's weird that we play a couple of different games with them, which is like, don't open the door for us, we got it ourselves, but open the door for us. Whatever. Why aren't dads of America teaching their little tiny nuggets how to treat a lady?
Success is impossible.
Guys, do you have deal breakers? I hate that I'm even saying deal breaker. Sorry, that was offensive. I feel like there are no deal breakers for girls because most girls that I know have a job, are working hard, are pretty, they try hard, they do whatever they can to make the guy that they're dating happy, but men? No! It's like the plague when they have the ability to impress a woman. Talk to my neighbor, my handsome neighbor that I once kissed on the face that we don't talk about. He took a lady to the Book of Mormon, expensive, cocktails, expensive, then dinner, I think might have happened before that. He checked out at like a $700 bill. What? I can't even get a guy to buy me a Peroni. Oh. That's a delightful beer. If you're 21, don't drink it if you're not 21. I have no idea what the solution is. Do we ask the dads of future generations to educate their sons on how to take care of a lady? Or do we just assume that everybody that you date is going to lowball you until you meet a handsome Persian man willing to buy you bottle service? You're an idiot! Which I'm totally accepting offers for. You have to put a little bit of effort in, guys. You have to. This red lipstick, that's me putting effort in. Yeah, sometimes it gets on my teeth. So what? I have beaver teeth.
Ladies, never pay on a first date again. Don't offer to pay, don't do the fake reach, and definitely don't go Dutch.
Should you offer to pay on the first date? Hell to the no. This is the one thing I am adamant about.
I think that it's nice to offer, but I do think there is the assumption that the man will pay on a date, but I also think there's the other belief that whoever asks pays.
The first date, I think the men should always pay. That is just a rule I stick by, but the woman should always offer. However, if the man accepts, I'm thinking to myself, I'm not going to see you again. And I've had those standoffs before where a guy just stares and tells me, well, you know, I'm sure you do pretty well. You get this one, I'll get the next. And I'm thinking, you are not dating material.
Dumbest question I ever heard. Women should never pay for dates. And it's like Chris Rock said, I'm going to quote him, I'm giving him credit. Dick is free. Pussy's expensive.
Too much in love to admit they're too cheap. Guys apparently wrestling with their women and their wallets because a new poll shows more men want women to chip in when they go out. Apparently, women are not as keen about this. To Michelle and Hadley and Steve on what they make of this. Hadley?
Oh, man, you're going to call me old-fashioned, Neil, but I still think that a man should pay. If he asks you out on a date, if it's the first date, then I expect a man to pay because, listen, we've got a lot of customs and sort of unspoken rules in the dating world, and while many things can change about gender roles and many things can change about the economy, there's still some value to having those customs in place.
What if you ask the guy?
I probably wouldn't do that, Neil.
Well, you probably don't need to. Michelle, what do you make of that?
Men these days, Neil. Absolutely. The woman is not supposed to pay. If you're courting a lady, you're the one who's supposed to pay. If you're the one who's initiating this date, which is usually the males initiating the date, they're the ones who have to pay for it. I understand we're in a bad economy. We have 7.6% unemployment, but there's no excuse. There's no excuse to make the woman pay.
Yeah, but the guys aren't doing that great. You guys actually in this workforce are doing better. So pony up, you cheapskates. What do you think of that?
No, I'm going to agree with Hadley. There are certain, I'm old-fashioned. There are certain traditions. I think that you should treat a woman to a nice date and not make her pay.
Maybe the
when should a guy or shouldn't a guy pick up the check before you get a chance?
I'm going to be a little contradictory here because I view myself as an independent
roar,
woman.
But, yeah, okay.
But at the same time, I'm old school like that. I think the guy should pay. And I always offer, but if they actually took me up on it, I would find that, you know, that would be a check in the no box for a second date.
Now, when it hangs out there on the table, you're like, I can wait you out? Like, how does it work?
Yeah, no, it can be a little awkward sometimes. But look, I think it's the right thing to do to offer, but I like a guy to be a little chivalrous.
Exactly.
There are ways, though, to go on a nice date without having to spend a lot of money. Going to a free museum, going to the park, making food yourself, making dinner. There are ways to save money without making the woman pay.
You sound like Alan Alda with a dress. I cannot believe you just said that. But Hadley, I would that was a joke. I didn't want you to get you angry, and nor do I want to get Mr. Alda. But I will say this: what are the expectations after the first few dates? To Steve's point here, that after a while you are then, let's say, in simpatico, you both really get along, you know it's promising, then what's wrong with saying, all right, pay up, Hadley?
There's nothing wrong, and I think after it's established that you're in a dating relationship, as women, we should offer to pay because, look, in this economy, a study showed that in urban areas, young, single, childless women are actually out-earning their male peers by about 8%. So
yeah, but you're still holding them out, these poor, underpaid SOBs. You're still forcing them to pay up and bringing them further, into poverty.
As a social custom, though, sometimes the question of did the man pay on that first outing helps to distinguish between a casual meal among friends and what's really a date. So I think that these social customs that we have in place, again, they help signal to us where a relationship stands and help us avoid some of the awkwardness that comes with that unsureness.
Well, see, I was such a loser at school. I would offer posters at school saying, "We'll pay for life." But nothing. But Michelle, I mean, the economic environment has changed, right? I mean, women are doing a lot better now in a lot of areas and industries. They're doing much better. So aren't the old rules gone? Aren't the kind of customs that we had in the early days gone?
No, I mean, I think once you get into a serious relationship, then you can talk about, splitting the check and paying for certain things. But I think on the first few dates, absolutely not. The man is supposed to pay.
So where's the cutoff for you, Michelle? I mean, you're stringing the guy along for how long before you say, ta-ta?
Maybe this is why I'm single.